It's funny how often the really big lessons, the ones that stick with you, don't come from some huge dramatic event.
Hmm.
Sometimes they come from these, like, small things, annoying things even, but things you just can't ignore.
That's so true. Those inescapable little disruptions.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. Because today we're doing a deep dive into some really compelling source material. We're looking at the third plague in Exodus, the dust turning into gnats.
Right.
And our goal here is to figure out what made this plague so uniquely powerful and maybe what we can still learn from it today.
And it's a fantastic lens, this ancient story. It really helps you get your head around, well, how power works in subtle ways
Uh-huh.
and the limits of our own control, and maybe most pointedly, just how stubborn the human heart can be. It's kind of a shortcut to getting smart on these big
So
themes.
diving in, the first thing that really jumps out from the source material about this third plague is the surprise factor.
Yeah, totally unexpected.
Unlike the blood or the frogs, there wasn't any, preamble, no big confrontation with Pharaoh beforehand.
No warning at all.
Just happened. Aaron basically lifts his staff, hits the dust, and bam, instantly.
All the dust throughout the land of Egypt becomes gnats.
Tiny biting swarms, as the source says, making the place unbearable.
And think about how pervasive that is. I mean, the source emphasizes they were literally everywhere. In their food, their clothes, finding them in their beds, just inescapable, this constant irritating buzz you couldn't get away from.
But it wasn't just about being annoyed, right? The source digs deeper. This seems to hit the Egyptians right where they lived, spiritually speaking.
Absolutely. It went straight for the heart of their worship, their connection to the land. Think about their gods, Geb, god of the earth.
Right, the ground beneath their feet.
Exactly. And suddenly that ground, the very dust, turns hostile. It's not just inconvenient, it's like a direct challenge to their whole spiritual system. It shakes their faith in the gods meant to protect that land.
Which leads to this really fascinating moment with Pharaoh's magicians.
Ah, yes. Because they had managed before, hadn't they? They mimicked the blood, they mimicked the frogs.
They did. But this time,
Yeah.
nothing. They tried their usual magic, their arts, but no gnats.
They completely failed. And their admission is crucial. They go to Pharaoh and say,
This is the finger of God.
yeah, that's not just admitting defeat, it's recognizing something beyond human skill, beyond magic. Even they saw it. This wasn't a trick. This was something divine.
That seems like it should be a turning point, doesn't it? Your own experts are telling you this is beyond them, this is God.
You'd think so.
Yet the source is really clear. Pharaoh's heart stayed hard.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
He heard it. He saw it. These gnats were everywhere, undeniable. But he still refused to let the people go. What does that tell us?
Well, I think it gets to that core insight from the source. This plague wasn't loud, but it was impossible to ignore.
Good point. It wasn't dramatic like fire or hail.
No thunder, no spectacle, just dust. The most humble, overlooked thing. And yet it shows that real authority, real power, doesn't always need the big display.
Sometimes it's quiet, but pervasive.
Exactly. Just his finger, just
Yeah.
his breath, as the source puts it. It's like sometimes the smallest, most persistent irritations are the things that actually expose our biggest idols, the things we really rely on.
Like that tiny rattle in your car that you ignore until it leads you to the real engine problem.
That's a great analogy, which brings us to what the source calls the deeper issue here.
Right, it says, the issue wasn't the gnats. That wasn't the real problem for Pharaoh.
No, the issue was the heart, his pride, his refusal to bend even when faced with something so, well, everywhere.
His will was just set.
Completely impenetrable, despite everything.
So when we pull back and look at this whole account, what's the lesson that lasts? What should we take away?
I think it's that powerful idea that true power, maybe divine power, can show up in really unexpected ways.
Not always the shock and awe.
Not always. Sometimes it's pervasive. It gets under your skin, forces you to pay attention precisely because you can't escape it. And in doing that, it reveals truths we might otherwise ignore.
So what does this all mean for us listening now?
Well, the source itself kind of leaves us with a direct question, doesn't it? It puts it right to you. When God uses something small to get your attention, do you listen?
That really is something to think about long after we've finished talking. A powerful question to leave you with.